It's time. I think you can start.
Can start? Okay. You can see the screen, right? Can you
Yes,
see the
yes,
screen?
yes, yes.
Yeah, we'll start. Harihi Om Sarvagurubhyo Namaha Om Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabiryajatraha Sthirairangai Istuštuvagam Sastanuvihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swastina Indra Vriddashavaha Swastina Pusha Vishvavedaha Swastina Starkshyo Arishtanemihi स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शांति शांति शांति. This is a mantra from Rigveda, but used as a Shanti mantra for all the Upanishads that belong to Atharvana Veda. For example, the Prashna Upanishad. So this is the Shanti mantra for that. Sometimes just listening to the Shanti mantra, we can tell the Upanishad we are studying belongs to which Veda. गीतान्यस्तात्मीयपरं वरप्रदगुरौ वैराग्यभाग्यो ददौ वेदान्तामृतसारवन्तमनगा श्रीश्रीनिवासाद्गुरोः श्रीशैलान्वयकौस्तुभस्य तनयं श्रेयो निधे श्रीनिधेः वन्दे साधुकटाक्षकेलिनिलयं श्रीकृष्णसद्धेशिखम् गीतासु गीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रसङ्ग्रहैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्मात् विनिसृता मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्बसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनम्. So we stopped here yesterday at Ajopi Sannavyaya Bhutanam Ishvaropi San Prakatim Swamadhishtaya Sambhavam Yatmamaya. So the Supreme is inherently beyond space and time, but through Maya. Here the Maya doesn't mean magic, it is a divine power of manifestation. Uh, Anything great, which is a magical moment, we say like that. The Supreme wields its own inherent nature to assume a role that is needed for a relevant situation, to a particular situation. What is needed for that part? Someone, it fills up that gap. It is needed. So when does it do that? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So whenever there is dharma is being in danger, in decline of dharma, and abhyuttanam, when there is rise of adharma, then I manifest myself in this world. So that is a very famous sloka of Gita. What is dharma? Dharma is that which is beneficial, which sustains, which is essential. It's a harmony in the universe that sustains the greatest good. Like we say, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Whoever protects dharma, that person is protected by them. If we didn't do that, it is almost like chopping the very branch of tree we are resting on. Uh, if you start, or even the tree we are taking shade under, if we don't protect the tree, there won't be any shade for us. We are destroying it. So adharma is actually opposite of dharma. It undermines sustainability. Yada yada hi dharmasya. Who is telling today? Yada yada hi dharmasya. Somebody following? Yeah, Param. Yeah, I think you have to unmute yourself. You have to unmute. You're not unmuted. Yeah. Yada yada hi dharmasya
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
glanirбhavati bharata
ग्लानिर्भवति भारत
abhyuttanamadharmasya
अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य
tadatmanam srijamyaham.
तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्.
So after having come, what the uh, Supreme Incarnation will do is paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To protect the uh, basically, sadhu doesn't mean only people wearing saffron clothes. It's not like that. The protect the good, sadhu, anyone who is good is sadhu. to protect the good, and vinashaya cha dushkritam, to destroy the evil, and firmly establish dharma samsthapanarthaya, for the purpose of establishing dharma, sambhavami yuge yuge. I will, I manifest myself from time and again. So this is here. It is not just the good means all innocent, nice people. It's not just saints. Okay? So helpless folks who are subjected to atrocity by the wicked. So that's what it is. They are exploited, and history has shown us that. That's why it says there is no limitation. Sambhavami yuge yuge. From time to time, whenever there is need, I will manifest myself hastily. There is no limitation, and although we have celebrated incarnations like the Dashavatara, things like that, but according to what Krishna is saying here, there is no limitation of space, sky, or time. Wherever there is need, we see this often that uh, people exposed to same kind of situation, one or two of them rise up to that. After rising up, they try to correct what the wrong going on. So this we see all through history. There's always someone rising up in the face of anything bad happening. Even though it's happening to everyone, not everyone wakes up. It's so those are the people who are avatara, like Joseph Campbell's a hero with 1,000 faces. All these kind of avatars or incarnations have a commonality. Commonality being they rise to the occasion, and then they also come back and fix it. A lot of people may rise to the occasion and walk away. They may correct it to themselves, or they may manage it for themselves, but they don't help others. So we would not even know those people. So the characteristics of avatar is someone who exposed to some kind of a bad situation, rises, comes back, changes the game basically. That is so there is of course we have 10 avatars, some Puranas say 24 avatars, but basically whoever, so there is countless. Although we say Meena Krite Kamatakola Nasimha Varnan Swamin Parashvata Tapodana Ramachandra Sheshansha Rama Yadunandana Kalke Rupa. In Suprabhatam, they only recognize 10, but those are all the popular ones. But it's a very open concept here. Paritranaya Sadhunam
परित्राणाय साधूनां
Vinashaya cha Dushkritam
विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां
Dharma Samsthapanarthaya
धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय
Sambhavami Yuge Yuge.
संभवामि युगे युगे.
Basically, a lot of time, God empowers someone. He picks up someone and empowers them to play the role of a avatar. Actually, in the biblical tradition, when Moses was realized as a Hebrew, Pharaoh basically dumped him, and he wants to. God talks to him to go back and rescue his people. Then he says that Pharaoh is like the most powerful king of those times. I'm just a Hebrew slave. How can I go and challenge Pharaoh? So God tells him, you are just a vehicle. I am going to speak. I'm just using you as a means. I am the one talking. So you can go ahead and challenge the Pharaoh. So all these things are avatars who rise up to occasion. We have seen that so many examples. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, all these people rose up to the occasion and did something. It doesn't mean they fix everything. At least they take care of something. There is nothing like everything is taken care of. But they rise to the occasion and take a leadership. And for no personal gain. Janma karma cha me धर्म जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म naiti mameti sorjuna. The one who realizes that my birth and actions, that is mean of the Supreme, is divine. It is my birth and deeds are all divine. When you realize that the power of this avatars are of the Supreme, when it manifests like that, such a person is not born when he leaves the body. When he realizes, he comes to Arjuna. He comes to me, Arjuna. So whenever the one who realizes this, even in the Mahabharata, we know that very few people realize that the importance of Krishna. Very few people, not most of them did not. Arjuna himself did not realize for quite some time. Of course, Janma karma cha me divyam
Janma karma cha me divyam.
evayo veti tattvataha
Evam yo vetti tattvataha.
tyaktva deham punarjanma
Tyaktva deham punarjanma.
naiti mameti saurjuna.
Naiti mameti sorjuna.
Then he continues, Vitaraga Bhayakrodaha Manmaya Mam Upashritaha Bahavo Gnana Tapasa Puta Madbhava Magataha. Here he says that it is not something very strange. Many people have realized this. They are freed, become freed from attachment, uh, fear and anger. Vita Raga Bhayakrodaha, attachment and anger and fear. Thinking of me, dedicated to me, Manmaya Mam Upashritaha, taking refuge in me, Bahavo Gnana Tapasa, many they are cleansed by the fire of wisdom, Gnana Tapasa, cleansed by the fire of wisdom. Many have attained my state of being, Bhuta Madbhava Magataha. So he's telling that it's not something strange. Many have realized this and attained my state of being. Vita Raga Bhaya Krodhaha
Vita raga bhaya krodhaha.
Manmaya Mam Upashritaha
Manmaya mamupashritaha.
Bahavo Gnana Tapasa
Bahavo jnana tapasa.
Bhuta Madbhavam Agataha.
Bhuta madbhava magataha.
This is another very common theme of Sanatana Dharma. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmano vartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. Everywhere people are trying to reach the Supreme. Everywhere people pursue the path to attain me. In whatever manner they approach, ye yatha mam prapadyante, whatever manner they approach, I reward them accordingly. Tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. By the way they look up to me, bhajami aham, I reward them accordingly. So everywhere. So this is a common feature. If you know if you look at any culture in the world, there's always a concept of God. There is no culture in this world. They may not call it as same as God, but all of them, everyone has that concept of Supreme. Ye yatha mam prapadyante
Ye yatha mam prapadyante.
tams tathaiva bhajamyaham
Tamstathaiva bhajamyaham.
mama vartmanu vartante
Mama vartmanu vartante.
manushyaha partha sarvashaha.
Manushyaha partha sarvashaha.
But there's also a shortcut. Some people are anxious to get result very quickly. Kangshantaha karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devataha kshipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. If you aim for something lower, you can get it more quickly, right? That it's if they're interested in results, kangshantaha, those who worship craving for worldly desires, they offer ritualistic worship to the gods. So anything we pursue, anything bhuta vidya we pursue, we get benefit from that. You always get benefit. It's easy to get benefit from something like that. So immediately you can see the result. Offer ritual to gods, but here he talks about gods is something not the supreme, something lower kind of list. Like you could even call any pursuit we take is like gods. Physics is also a god. Chemistry is also a god, like that. Indeed, in the world of humans, one attains material success quickly. It's always difficult to attain something great, something easy. It's easy to attain that. Material success is relatively easy to uh, attain. Uh, I can plant a tree or a vegetable plant. I can easily see that it's growing. I can see it very quickly. That kind of benefit we can get. Okay? So, काङ्क्षन्तः कर्मणां सिद्धिं
काङ्क्षन्तः कर्मणां सिद्धिं
यजन्त इह देवताः
यजन्त इह देवताः
क्षिप्रं हि मानुषे लोके
क्षिप्रं हि मानुषे लोके
सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा.
सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा.
These are all people who act to get some benefit. Having said that, he says that everyone does not do exactly the same thing. Even they are interested in karmajaha to get some benefit. Kankshanta karmanam siddhi. What the karma they use, not all same. Everyone do not do exactly the same thing. Even though the desire may be same, but that is dependent on this where he says, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram abhimam vidya kartaram avyayam. Vidhi akartaram avyayam. So this is, I created this four Chaturvarna is four basic traits, four major basic traits. It's a classification based on guna and karma. So whatever our inherent qualities are, that makes us suitable to some kind of activity. So there is a relation between our guna and karma, and because not all of them have the same guna. So it is not my intention. I am their cause. I am unchanged beyond all action. I don't have any, I did not do that to discriminate anything. It's just the way it is. So you need different, people are endowed with different abilities, different traits. Depending on that, whatever the action they do is related to that. Actually, we can discuss in great detail. This comes, the Chaturvarna is described in great detail in chapter 18, verses 41 to 44. When we come to that, we can discuss this in deep detail. This is Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam
चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं
gunakarma vibhagashaha
गुणकर्म विभागशः
tasya kartaram apimam
तस्य कर्तारमपि मां
vidya kartaram avyayam.
विद्य कर्तारमव्ययम्.
So here guna means all the properties of that person. It's not just triguna or anything. Every nature of that person. Like gold, you can make jewelry because it's malleable and ductile. Iron, you make hammer. Like that, we all have special qualities, very inherent to us. And it is a lot of times shaped by what we are inherently, and that is our genetics, and also it's influenced by the environment, nurture, also epigenetics. All these things impact what karma we do. It's impacted by the surroundings also. Probably D.V. Gundappa, if growing up in Germany, he would have written everything in German, not in Kannada. So like that, Kannada or English. So it's all impacted, but he's still a great thinker. That doesn't change. So it's impacted by those things. Namam karmani limpanti, name karma pale spriha, iti mam yobhijanati karma bir nasa bhadyate. And here he said that he did not have any particular agenda. He says that he is not, even though he did all these things, it's not bound by action because I don't crave for rewards. One who knows me, thus is also not bound by action. The namam karmani limpanti, there is no attachment. So not interested in the fruit of action either. The one who knows like this, that person is also is not bound by action. Basically, he's telling us everyone to think like that. Everyone is an avatar kind of thing in a small scale avatar. Everyone play a role. So play with this not without any attachment, and then you will not be bound by the karma. Karma be nasa bhadyate. Namam karmani limpanti.
Namam karmani limpanti.
Name karma phale spriha.
Name karma phale spruha.
Itimam yobhijanati.
Itimam yobhi janati.
Karma bhir nasa bhadyate.
Karma bhirnata badhyate.
Actually, Mother Nature itself is like that, right? We had a robin, and she had 3 chicks. She had 3 chicks, and one of them is very weak. The other 2 are healthy. This mother robin is feeding worms only to the healthy ones. The other weak one is crying. It's really asking for food, but the mother is taking care of only the healthier ones. It's kind of neglecting the other one. So the nature itself, in a way, like I thought it was very cruel. I could not find any worm. I fed some grain, but it wanted worms. I could not find any that little bird. So nature itself is like that. So we cannot blame that mother robin for doing like that. So it's a lot of overlap between nature and the supreme, Prakriti and Purusha. So, evam natva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhihi kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvai purvataram kritam. Now, again, he encourages that. I am not telling you something very strange, very unique for you. This kind of understanding, ancient seekers, purvairapi mumukshabhihi, who are interested in liberation, ancient people, they did actions in this manner, did their work without being attached to the outcome. Therefore, I suggest you also should do like that. Purvai purvataram kritam, like the way the ancient people, ancient bards who were interested in liberation did that. You also, kuru karmaiva tasmatvam, you also do like that, as done by the ancient people. Purvai purvataram kritam. There is precedence for that. I am not asking you something, something never happened, strange only for you. Evam natva kritam karma.
Evam jnatva kritam karma.
Purvairapi mumukshubhihi
Purvairapi mumukshubhihi.
kuru karmaiva tasmatvam
Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam.
purvaihi purvatarang kritam.
Purvaihi purvataram kritam.
Now we talks about what is karma. King karma kima karmeti. King karma kim akarmeti. Kim akarmeti. Kavayo pyatra mohitaha. Kavis means wise people, thinkers. Tatte karma pravakshami yatnatva mokshase ashubhat. So what is action and what is inaction? Kim karma, kim akarma. Iti. Even the wise, even the sages are puzzled. Mohitaha, even they are puzzled. Let me explain what is that true nature of action. Tate karma pravakshami. Having known that yat gnatva mokshase ashubha. You are saved from the evil. Here, evil refers to continued recycling of birth and death cycles. Cycle of karma due to one's attachments. Anytime we have attachment, we are not liberated. We have to come back to fulfill that. King karma kim akarmeti.
King karma kima karmeti.
Kavayo pyatra mohitaha.
Kavayopyatra mohitaha.
Tatte karma pravakshyami.
Tatte karma pravakshyami.
Yatgnatva mokshase ashubhat.
Yajnatva mokshase ashubhat.
Now we continue. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam. Bodhavyancha vikarmanaha. Akarmanascha bodhavyam. Gahana karmano gatihi. Gahana is profound to understand the nature of karma. So we have to know what is karma. We should karmanaha api hi api bodhavyam. Then we have to know bodhavyancha vikarmanaha. Then akarmanaha cha bodhavyam. So one is karma, another is vikarma, and another is akarma. The nature of action is indeed hard to grasp. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam,
कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं
bodhavyancha vikarmanaha,
बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः
akarmanascha bodhavyam,
अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं
gahana karmano gatihi.
गहना कर्मणो गतिः.
Kind of D.V. Gundappa gives a good example of karma we can understand. Okay, akarma, not doing karma. Vikarma, he says, doing it in an awkward way. Like trying to eat our food with foot, toes instead of fingers. When we have perfectly nice hand, we should eat with hand. There are some people who have some kind of a disability, they may have to eat with their feet. There was one painter, he was paralyzed below neck. So all his painting he did holding a brush in his mouth. So those are a very special situation. But normally when we can do something right, we should not do in a vikara, in a karma like that. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam. Did we do that? We can do one more time. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam.
कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं
Bodhavyancha vikarmanaha.
बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः
Akarmanascha bodhavyam.
अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं
Gahana karmano gatihi.
गहना कर्मणो गतिः.
And he says, karmanya karma yah pashet akarmani cha karma yaha. The buddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna karma krit. The one who can see stillness in the midst of action. Even when lots of things are happening, but he can see stillness in the midst of activity and action in the midst of inertia. Akarmani cha karmayaha. Like I told earlier, right? When you just sit down, not doing anything, still we are doing a lot of chatting going on in the mind. So even though we are inactive, actually we are, our mind is thinking many things. We are still doing, even though we don't physically don't like appear like we are doing anything. So then one who can see stillness in the midst of activity and action in the midst of stillness, of inertia, is indeed wise. He acts sensibly at all times. Stillness in the midst of activity is explained in earlier part of chapter 3. Action in the midst of inertia is explained there, right? When we are just sitting, but our mind is doing a lot of chatting, right? So, karmanya karma yah pashet,
कर्मण्य कर्म यः पश्येत्
akarmani cha karma yaha,
अकर्मणि च कर्म यः
sabuddhiman manusheshu,
स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु
sayukta krishna karma krit.
संयुक्तकृत्स्न कर्मकृत्.
So in a way, sometimes we don't have to do anything. Not doing anything, I mean, don't when there is no problem, don't try to fix it. See the akarma in that, so you don't have to always jump in to do something. Not doing anything is also something good. I mean, not taking action on certain thing is also good. I'm just telling in a worldly example. When I retired from Phillips Petroleum Company, I had about $120,000 in my retirement. And my wife also worked there. She had about $20,000. So it just stayed like that. It was not doing anything. After a few years, I thought I became I will diversify. I took it out and put it in something else. Then I wanted to do that for my wife's also. Phyllis Petroleum said, no, she has to contact because it is her account. We cannot send you the papers to transfer. She has to do that. I told her, she didn't do anything. Oh, okay, she just left it. 10 years later, her 20,000 increased 20-fold. Mine got reduced 20-fold. So not doing anything was actually good. Karma was. I wish I had known this sloka at that time. Karmanya karma yah pashet,
कर्मण्य कर्म यः पश्येत्
akarmani cha karma yah,
अकर्मणि च कर्म यः
sabuddhiman manusheshu,
सबुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु
sayukta krishna karma krit.
सयुक्तः कृत्स्न कर्मकृत्.
Here it's a talks about vice, how the vice act. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha nanagni dagdha karmana tamahu panditam pudaha. The pursuit of vice are not motivated by desire. They don't have kama sankalpa, they are varjitaha. They don't have any desire for the outcome. Their actions are purified by fire of wisdom. Anything they do is pure. They do for the sake of goodness. There is no agenda for them. Absolutely no agenda. Pursuit of the vice are not motivated by desire. Their actions are purified by the fire of wisdom. That is why I think in the ancient Greece, they were telling that the best leader for a country is a philosopher. Someone who does good for, not interested in promoting himself or his family or anything like that. So such a person is someone like this. Yasya sarve samarambhaha
यस्य सर्वे समारम्भाः
kama sankalpa varjitaha
कामसङ्कल्पवर्जिताः
nanagni dagdha karmanam
ज्ञानाग्निदग्धकर्माणं
tamahu panditam buddha.
तमाहुः पण्डितं बुधाः.
Such a person is called pandita. So, tyaktva karma palasangam nitya tripto nirashrayah karmanyabhi pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti sa. It's a beautiful word. Someone tyaktva karma palasangam, no attachment to the fruits of action. This person is always satisfied. Nitya tripto nirashrayah, not dependent on anything. Nirashraya, nitya tripti, always content and not dependent on anything. But acts karmani abhi pravrittopi. Even though fully engaged in action, this person doesn't do anything. Aiva kinchit karoti saha. Wise one, having given up all attachment to the rewards of action, they are always satisfied, content, and independent. Nirashraya. Even when engaged in action, it's as though they do nothing. A lot of time people who dedicate their life for voluntary work, they're busily doing so many things, but they have absolutely no agenda. They're content. They're not dependent on anything. It's funny. One time I got a little bit chest pain because I ate too much salsa. It was too hot. So I went to nurse's station. It may be heart attack. You better. It was about 10 years ago. They pushed me down and put me on a stroller and called the hazmat, and they took me to some hospital for doing all the tests. They put me IV. I asked the guy who was doing that. He said it's voluntary. He's not paid anything. He was doing it in such a dedicated way. All the act. I told him I think it may be just salsa I ate. I should not have gone to nurse's station. One of my associate took me to nurse's station. It may be something serious. That was a mistake. He said, "Don't worry. They have all the equipment. They put you through some tests." And I said, "What are you?" He said, "He's just a voluntary." He drove the van to our facility, put me on the bed, and took me. We did everything. So he was doing it such a nice way, but he was just doing with no personal agenda. So tyaktva karma palasangam
स्वकर्मफलासङ्गं
nitya tripto nirashrayah
नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः
karmanyabhi pravrittopi
कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि
naiva kinchit karoti saha.
नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः.
So one has to be very wise to be able to be like that, because any action we try to do, even if it's a voluntary thing, we get attachment. It's very difficult to avoid that. One has to be very wise to be careful. Supposing somebody was having a party, they were inviting 100 people, right? So they don't want to call all the 100. They gave me 10 numbers. You call these 10 numbers. And like that, I have given to 10 other people to a party and such a day in somebody's house. So instead of one making 100 calls, divide into 10 people. If it so happens, the 10, it's not my party. I'm just helping somebody. Uh, if the 10 people I called, if none of them showed up, they all said some excuse, no, I can't make it, something. Whereas someone else, all the 10 came, I feel bad. What happened? Something wrong I did after all, right? It's just an attachment. Any act, it's very difficult to act and not to be attached. So one has to be very wise. Maybe naiva kinchit karoti saha, to be in that state. निराशीर यतचित्तात्मा त्यक्त्वा सर्व परिग्रह शारीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वन् नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. The same theme continues here. Someone who is nirashir yatachittatma, this person is with discipline and he has no desire. Tyaktva sarva parigraha, no interest in accumulating anything, not for any particular anything from it, and free from sense of passion. When that person does kevalam shariran, using his body, his acts, kurvan napnoti kilbishan. There is no guilt involved in that. When you act like that, there's absolutely no guilt. Like I told you, I felt guilty when the 10 people did not showed up. So there is no guilt if you act with this kind of mentality. Nirashir yata chittatma
निराशीर्यत चित्तात्मा
tyaktva sarva parigraha.
त्यक्त सर्वपरिग्रहः.
You're right. Tyakta sarva, not tyaktva. Tyakta sarva parigraha. Sharirang kevalang karma.
शारीरं केवलं कर्म
Kurvan napnoti kilbisham.
कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्.
This is Yadricha Labasantushto Dvandvatito Vimatsaraha Samasiddhava Siddhaucha Kritvapi Nani Bhadyate. This same kind of theme continues, not bound. When you get satisfied with whatever comes along, Yadricha Labasantushto, whatever comes along, and Dvandvatito, there is no duality of good and bad, success and failure like that. Vimatsaraha, there is absolutely no hatred or anything like that. No, then satisfied with whatever comes along, even-minded, for both samaha, siddha, va asiddha, for success or failure. When such a person acts like that, even if that person is fully acting, not bound by it, even when involved in the action, is not bound. So satisfied with what comes along, santushto, on its own accord, even-minded, without success and failure, samasiddhava siddhaucha, rising above dvandvatita, rising above dualities, and no matsara, vimatsara, no envy, no jealousy. One is not affected even when involved in action. Yadricha lava santushto,
यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टो
dvandvatito vimatsara,
द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः
samasiddhava siddhaucha,
समसिद्धौ समसिद्धा
siddhava siddhaucha,
समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च
kritvapi,
समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च
samasiddhava siddhaucha,
समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च
अनावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते. It is this concept that come before with a spirit of yajna, spirit of sacrifice, right? One who is wise, gata sangasya muktasya, there is no attachment and liberated, acts in the spirit of yajna. And all these actions indeed are absolved, not bothered by the action. Spirit of yajna refers to spirit of service or offering. Um, absolved means that he is not bound by those actions. It doesn't uh, taint him. The actions don't taint him. Ideally, one should perform all actions in the spirit of yajna. In other words, work in a dedicated manner, work as worship. And like even Bhagavan had Kayakave Kailasa, like work as worship. It might not be possible to do everything like that for us. At least the spirit of yajna, at least that should be the goal, to try to do at least some activities in that spirit. Not doing is basically kind of a wasted life. If nothing you do like that with that kind of attitude, it's actually a wasted life. गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य
गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य
नानावस्थितचेतसः
ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः
यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म
यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म
समग्रं प्रविलीयते
समग्रं प्रविलीयते.
प्रविलीयते. This is also a beautiful verse. Everything is Brahman. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma kind of concept. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhinam. So every aspect of yajna is described here. Brahman is the offering. Brahman is the oblation. Brahman is the fire. Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam. Brahman makes the offering. Brahman indeed is attained by one who is absorbed in action, which is also Brahman. Everything is Brahman. It's kind of a same concept as Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. It is a lot of people tell this verse before having food. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi
ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महविः
Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam
ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं
Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam
ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं
Brahma Karma Samadhina.
ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना.
Yeah, so every aspect of yajna is described here. Now we're talking about different kinds of yajna. Daivameva pare yajnam yoginaha paryupasate brahmagna vapare yajnam yagne naivopa juhvati. So here some aspirants perform yajna to lesser gods. Daivame apare. Some people do that. While some other perform yajna in the fire of Brahman. Brahmagna vapare yagnam. Yagne naivopajuhvati. They offer Brahma offering the yajna itself. Offering yajna in the fire of Brahman, offering the yajna itself. Some aspirant perform yajna to lesser gods, while some other perform yajna in the fire of Brahman, offering the yajna itself. Like we get in the Purusha Suktam, Yagnena Yagna Mayajanta Devaha Tani Dharmani Pratamanyasam. So offered yajna itself to yajna. They did not. Uh, that's the same concept. Purandaradasa says, "Kereya neeranu kerege challi varava padada varante kaaniru." So we did not bring anything. We offer Brahman to Brahman, yajna to yajna. So anything we do is in the same spirit. We did not bring anything offering, but we feel great, right? Kereya neeranu kerege challi varava padada varante kaaniru. We did as though we did something great like that. When we do the argya. Daivameva pare yagnam
दैवमेवापरे यज्ञं
yogina paryupasate
योगिनः पर्युपासते
brahmagna vapare yagnam
ब्रह्माज्ञावपरे यज्ञं
yagne naivopa juhvati.
यज्ञेनैवोपजुह्वति.
So now is another kind of aspirant, different kinds of yajnas he talks about here. Shrotrādīn indriyān anye sayyamāgnishu juhvati shabdādīn vishayānanya indriyāgnishu juhvati. Here Shrotra is all the indriyas. Gets example, submit hearing and all the other senses in the fire of restraint. They one of the discipline they show it, they restrain all their senses. Shrotrādīn indriyananya, all their senses, all the five senses. The fire of restraint. Fire of restraint means they practice, they restrain the senses. So, not that they're burning it literally, they're acting in the restraining the senses. Sayyamagnishu Juhvati, that's what they're telling by practice. Then some others, Shabdadin Vishayananya, Indriyagnishu Juhvati. Some others subdue sound and other sensations in the fire of sense. In other words, one controls the senses, another controls the sense objects from contacting them. One can control the senses itself or sense objects from contacting. Okay. Shrotrādīn indriyān anye
श्रोत्रादीनीन्द्रियाण्यन्ये
sayyamāgnishu juhvati
संयमाग्निषु जुह्वति.
shabdādīn vishayān anya
शब्दादीन् विषयानन्य
indriyāgnishu juhvati.
इन्द्रियाग्निषु जुह्वति.
Can always do that in something we are not interested in that. Even if we are seeing, we just set it off. We don't even care for it. The way we all do that for some things. Sarvāni indriya karmāni prana karmāni chapare atma sanyama yogāgnau juhvati gnana dīpite. So here some offer all the actions of the senses, sarvāni indriya karmāni, in the fire of self-control. Prana karmāni chapare, full some offer the prana. Prana is the vital breath and breathing and all actions in but the senses, all this indriya karmāni, all the actions of the senses in the fire of self-control, which is kindled by knowledge, Atma Sanyama Yoga. Juhvati Gnana Dīpite. So basically, some offer the prana and all actions of the senses in the fire of self-control. So that is their, that self-control is coming from there, because from their wisdom it is coming, self-control. Sarvāni indriya karmāni
सर्वाणीन्द्रियकर्माणि
prana karmāni chapare
प्राणकर्माणि चापरे
atma sanyama yogagnau
आत्मसंयमयोगाग्नौ
juhvati gnana dīpite.
जुह्वति ज्ञानदीपिते.
Yeah, a few more yajnas will continue tomorrow. I will stop here. Any comments, Hari or anybody? Open it up.
Basically, there's a very nice conception of every aspect of our life, every activity we do, to try to elevate it to the level of yajna. So, when we have this kind of a larger purpose for whatever we do, the same activity takes on a slightly different gravity, different emotional significance, which means that we execute the action also with more energy and dedication. So I think that is very nicely brought out in this chapter with all the various examples.
Everything is supreme purpose. It's bringing for everything. Okay. Like some people say, there are no no small roles, only small actors. Some actors are not something like that. They say that all roles are important. Uh, just that some some actors are not that. They may not consider that. I think.
Yeah, in fact, in sometime in the movies, they would have been just a cameo role, but the actor is so good that some people would have appreciated just for that few minutes, and then given them a major movie role in the next movie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think it was Beachy. Beachy was saying that I think some graduation talk or somewhere he gave. I don't know where it was exactly. He said that no job is small. Uh, but if you took a job and if you think the salary was less, so you did not do you did less because salary is not good. It's very low paying job. I'm not going to be good. I will just do a sloppy job. He said, if you think like that, don't take that job at all. When you take a job, you should do it with a full spirit of with full enthusiasm and do your best, considering that as a supreme job. Like we always give example of somebody like a janitor in PNG, maybe just cleaning a toilet. The same janitor can think, I'm supporting this 150,000 employees, $60 billion company. Without my role, the whole the whole building will stink. So it's a very important work. It's very interesting how some people can do that naturally. Even though they have not read this chapter, they naturally do that.
And also, I think when people are taken up their activity, whatever they do with great energy and enthusiasm,
Yeah,
that also spreads to the people around them. Like yesterday,
yeah,
we were talking about this post
yeah,
office clerk who had realized the Swadharma. So then what happens is that people become like a magnetic point where people around them feel some sort of
exactly.
inspiration and
Yeah.
comfort. So any activity, whatever we do, there's always a good way to do it. There's always a possibility for excellence. So
Yeah.
when people are moving towards that, one side they are realizing the supreme purpose, and the other side they're also trying to excel in their activity. That they become such a valuable component in the social system, and naturally they get more respect, and the life also feels more fulfilling. So I think that kind of connected from multiple sides.
Yeah.
A student named Sindhu Singhal is asking a question. Can Vikrama be explained again, please?
Vikarma.
Yeah, looks like
Okay.
Vikarma,
Yeah. So
but
there's
she called out as, yeah.
so
Sindhuji, I have given you a permission to unmute as well. Maybe you can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just wanted to ask about Vikarma. I am not able to get that from any of the lectures that I've had before also. I'm not able to get that. Please. Thank you.
okay. So basically, there is this karma, akarma, and vikarma. So that's the question. What is vikarma?
They're
Correct,
doing
correct.
bad way, right? Doing the same thing in an ugly way. Vikara karma. Like the
Why
example
is
you
it
were
not
telling.
why is it not called Kukarma then?
Yeah, it's the same thing. So I think there is a very nice section by D.V. Gundappa in Jivanatharma Yoga, which discusses in detail about the karma. So he talks about how we have karma, which is action, then akarma is inaction, and vikarma is the wrong action or doing it incorrectly, doing it in a manner which destroys the result of the action. So it is something which is not to be done, or taking up an activity which is prohibited. All these things can come under vikarma.
Vikarma, yeah. Something.
So that means Vikarma is Kukarma.
Yeah, so kukarma is bad karma.
Yeah,
Vikarma is it's got like a little broader scope. It could involve doing, like you said, kukarma, which is bad action. It could also be taking up action which is prohibited for you. That also become vikarma. So a person who is responsible for activity A starts doing activity B. That is also called vikarma. So when we go violate our swadharma, the what we do can also come under vikarma. So
Oh,
let me see if I can pull out that section of the translation in English, and I'll post it on the group.
Yeah.
Very
Great.
nicely, he
Yeah.
has discussed about the types of karma and uh, all the various facets of it.
okay.
And if we do
Okay.
something half-heartedly, would that also be considered in
Yes,
Vikarma?
exactly. Doing it
Okay.
half-heartedly, something which is doing it in the in a way which is not supposed to be done, taking up an action which is prohibited. All these things come under vikarma.
Vikarma, yeah. Vikara. It's not
Yeah.
Vikrama, Vikarma.
So an example could be I'm not a firefighter, right? But I still go and fight that fire, which is not under my authority. So that becomes vikarma, but that is not kukarma because I'm still trying to help somebody,
Yes.
but
Yes.
in a
Exactly.
different, yeah. Okay. Okay. Good.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks.
This one lady gave me, she makes very good Karela Goju. I went to lunch for her place, and she said, I will give you some. And she kept it on my shoe. That way I won't forget. I think it's Vikarma. She put it in a bag. She said that keeping on your shoe. That way I won't forget. When you wear shoe, it will be there. So I kind of felt awkward like that. Something, even though it was in a um, basically it was not directly touching my shoes, but still it was in a little plastic bag on my shoe. Kind of like, although she was very kind to give me some, but she could have left it somewhere else.
So, sir, in that case, she did her karma, which in your eyes was vikarma, right? Am I right?
No, I think the thing is here again, for example, when we have social customs and practices, there is a certain established norm. So going against that will be vikarma.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like it is to do with the society. For example, I don't know, in India, it's a very common thing not to give something to another person using the left hand.
Right.
It's just a practice. There's nothing right or wrong about it, but it's just a custom. I also see that in some Eastern countries, I suppose. But in the West, that may not be a problem. Like you could give something to somebody else using your left hand, it would not seem like surprising. But when there is a certain culture, and going against that will also become vikarma.
Okay, okay, okay.
So
Thank you, sir.
it's a
Thank you
question
so
of
much.
norm. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
there is no right and wrong in an
Mm,
absolute sense, but it's more
mm.
about customs.
How
Okay,
going against the norm, kind of.
Yeah.
Is
right.
And the Vikara
Dushkarma
karma.
come under this Vikarma? Dushkarma is different, no?
Yeah, that's also part of vikarma.
Yeah.
That's what dushkarma, kukarma, whatever you say,
Yeah,
all
those are
that
all
comes under this broader
Vikarma.
category.
Yeah.
But sometimes somebody is forced to do unwillingly, but what would that be? Like doing it for
Yeah,
the
that
sake
it's
of
still. I
doing
mean,
it at all, yeah.
there is nothing. I mean, it's you are if possible, it's good to avoid vikarma. It is good to understand what is karma, what is akarma. That's what he's saying in one of the verses. But it is sometimes if it's inevitable, then well, that's how it is. But we should know that it is vikarma and it's inevitable. Therefore, we are doing it. So the earliest opportunity available, we get out of that.
But if we do not know something
So
and we are willing to do, but that's a good deed, how can we call that as Vikarma? For
yeah, if it is a good
example,
deed, then it's not akarma. It's not vikarma.
no, I know it is not Vikarma, right? Because I heard, was it Single? What's her first name?
she was saying that she's doing the firefighting, even if she doesn't know how to do that, it's for a good cause. How can that become
Correct.
vikarma?
So it is if it is not our expertise or we don't know the framework and things like that, then we may have the right intention to help, but we may not be equipped to help. So in that case, the moment you like, for example, if there's a fire in your house, you're trying to put it out until the point the real firefighters come. Till the time you're doing whatever is possible, it's a good thing, but you are not equipped for that. So when the real firefighter comes, you let them do the job because they'll be able to really
Right.
douse the fire.
So
So
it's like causing trouble more
yeah,
than
if you
by
continue
the
after
action.
they have arrived, then it is going to cause more trouble and confusion. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
think in that sense, there is no hard and fast thing here. It's about using our uh, you know
So it is definitely
discernment.
not dushkarma. It is vikarma. That's a different one,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I'll
Bad
try to
deed
find
is
that
doing bad
part
things,
from.
right?
Yeah, I will share it on the group.
Yeah,
It's
we
very
have it
well
in
Is
English.
it
We
laid
have
out.
it in English in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
DVG's,
it's there
group.
in English.
you were saying? DVG's,
Yeah, yeah.
this,
DVG's Jivana Dharma Yoga. I'll pull out that section. The entire book is translated and available online
Yeah.
in
yeah.
this website. I
Both
will
in
pull it out
Kannada
and
also.
paste it in the.
Is it
The
in
Kannada is the
Kannada?
original. It's available. It is there in the. It's available in the original book, but the
Yeah.
translation is available online.
Mhm.
Okay. So I should.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's all. Yeah.
I think it's 8 o'clock. We can.
Yeah, okay. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् यतो धर्मस्ततः कृष्णः यतः कृष्णत् ततो जयः नमस्ते टु यू आल सी यू टुमारो
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಗುರುಗಳೇ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.